Today we'll see how to upgrade the ICE deployment from 2.2 or 2.4 or 2.6 version to 2.7 distributed deployment. Okay, so this is my website networkscenarios.com. You can visit and see for more information. Uh, so there are few prerequisites before upgrading. Then we need to go through we need to choose one of the upgrade methods. Uh, then we'll see how to upgrade using one of the method, and then the post upgradation, the checks that we need to do. So these are all the steps we need to do. So these are the prerequisites. There are more, so these are the important ones you need to follow. First, you need to check whether the ICE current ICE deployment, if you are running VM or you are running hardware that meets the specification for 2.4. For example, the RAM, CPU, hard disk, and the guest operating system, the RACL version should match. Second is you need to run a URT, the upgrade readiness tool. So that is a kind of to check whether the upgrade will be successful or it will fail during the upgradation. So that needs to be run on the secondary admin node. So once you run the URT on the CLI, you'll come to know how much time it will take for the whole upgradation to take, right? Uh, once you run the URT tool, you can choose to uninstall the tool as well. Then you need to check whether all the devices which are dependent on ICE are compatible for 2.7 version. There is a compatible matrix from Cisco. You can visit Cisco website or Google it. You will find it. For example, switches or firewalls or the WLCs which you are using as a NAT, they might have to be upgraded in order to support 2.7. So it is recommended from Cisco that you should install the latest patch on the existing version. If you're running on 2.4, let's say you need to put the patch number 14 before you plan for upgrading to 2.7. So then it comes to some of the backups. Let's say you can take the screenshot of the PSN profiler configuration in the deployment page for each PSN. So what kind of profiling probes you are taking for example, whether you are taking the HTTP or SNMP probes, all these things you need to capture. In case you run into an issue after the upgrade, you can always refer that document and reconfigure the PSN profile configuration. And this is really important that you need to have a operational and configuration data backup and copy the files to a remote repository. You can do this from the CLI or from the GUI. GUI is very simple. You can do it, but if you are doing it from CLI, you can from the admin node, you can take the configuration backup. For operational backup, you need to do it from the primary MNT node. So it may take longer time depending on your deployment. So it is advised to that you should take the backups at least 1 day prior to your activity. Uh, and export all the local certificates and private keys from all the nodes in deployment. You should ensure that you need to also export the private keys for the server certificate, and also all the certificates from the trusted store. Those needs to be exported and kept safe. In case we ran into an issue with the certificates, we can upload that again. So before we start the upgrade, we need to disable the PAN failover. That is required in case while we upgrade the primary admin node, the secondary admin node should not take the admin role on its own. So we don't want that to happen. So we need to disable the automatic PAN failover. Then it comes to scheduled backup. It is advised that we should disable or stop the scheduled backups during the upgrade process. Once the upgrade is completed, we can enable this one. The next one is for the purging the operational data. This is optional. If you do this one, it will improve the performance, because if you purge the operational data, the size of the database will get reduced. So it may improve the upgradation performance. It may take lesser time. Okay, you need to ensure that it has the enough size, disk size for each ice node, that it can hold the new image and do the upgrade. And of course, you need to download the upgrade bundle from Cisco side and keep it in the remote repository. Also, you can keep it in the local disk of each ice node if you want. Anyways, it depends on which upgrade method that we are going to choose for upgradation, that we'll discuss shortly. And of course, you need to have the Active Directory credentials if your ICE deployment is joined with Active Directory. We may need the credentials. Okay, so there are three methods we can choose from for upgrading. The first one could be the from graphical user interface. The second one could be you can do it from the CLI. Third one could be from the backup and using backup and restore method. Cisco recommends to do the third method, backup and restore. In that case, if you're using virtual machines, you need to build a new virtual machine and restore the configuration and the operational and the configuration data from the repository. That is how it should be done. And for GUI, it is very simple. You need to go to the GUI and just select choose the upgrade bundle, and just click on start the upgrade. It will choose the it will do the upgrade on its own, one by one, I suppose. Okay, so it generally takes a little bit longer than CLI, because you don't have any control which one will happen first and which one will happen second. So the the last method is CLI. So CLI method is the administrator has to log into the CLI of each ICE node and do the upgradation manually through command line. Right. So in this document, we'll in this video we'll discuss about upgrading the ICE using CLI method. Um, the reason we choose CLI method, there could be multiple reasons. If you're if in the URT test, if you see that for some ICE nodes it takes more than 8 hours, then you should go for CLI, because if you do it from the GUI, the upgradation may fail and it may roll back to the previous version. So it's better to choose CLI if you have little bit knowledge on the commands on the Cisco ISE. Okay, so GUI, if you don't have much knowledge on the command lines, I would suggest to go for GUI. But if you know how to do it, a few commands are needed, not much. You can go ahead with CLI. So we'll discuss about the CLI method. So we need to follow a sequence as suggestion from the Cisco. I'm showing the upgrade method for a distributed deployment. So that means you have primary admin node, secondary admin node, primary MNT node, secondary MNT node, and multiple PSNs, right? So in that case, we should start with the secondary admin node. So once you say upgrade the secondary admin node, so it will have you will have two GUIs now. One is the old admin node, old deployment, and the new one with a new upgraded version, with the that we can say that new deployment, right? So with the upgraded version deployment. So when you upgrade the SAN, it will go to the it will become the primary admin node for the new for 2.7, right? Um, so all of the nodes that we are going to upgrade, that will join there. Okay. So now once you upgrade this SAN, old SAN becomes the new PAN. Once we do for the SAN upgradation, then we need to initiate the upgrade on primary monitoring node. then all the PSNs one by one, or you can choose all the PSNs or multiple PSNs in parallel, depending on how much redundancy you have in the network. Right. So coming to the next, we need to do for the secondary monitoring node. So before we do secondary MNT node, we need to enable the MNT persona in PAN, because we need to have at least a PAN and MNT for a deployment. If you don't do that, if you try to do directly upgradation, you may get an error saying that you need at least a MNT node, enable MNT persona on the PAN, right? So when you enable the MNT persona on the PAN, it will restart and wait for the restart to complete it, and then start the MNT secondary MNT upgradation. At the end, you can upgrade the PAN node. So so once you upgrade the PAN, when it joins the new 2.7 deployment, it will be joined as secondary admin node, because the old SAN in the first step became the the PAN for the new 2.7 version deployment, right? So upgradation from CLI, the commands will be same for each node. However, the MNT node may take longer than other nodes. It depends how much data you have. So these are the below are the commands you need to use for upgrading from CLI. First one is basically for cleaning up the files if there are any in the ICE nodes from the last upgrade. So you need to use this one, this command. There is no downtime or anything or non-service impacted command, so you can run this one. If you don't run this command, if you go to if you run directly the upgrade prepare command, then it may give an error saying that you need to clean up first. So in that case, you can run this command, first command, or you can run it before putting the prepare command, or you can choose to put all these three commands in sequence for all ICE nodes. It's up to you. But first one is optional. But the second command and third command are required. So for this is called prepare command, upgrade prepare, and upgrade proceed. Upgrade prepare is application upgrade prepare. Then you need to put the bundle name and where the bundle is present, or the repository remote repository name, or the local disk local repository name, right? So when you put this command, this is again a non-service impact command. I mean, there will be no outage. Till now, there is no outage as well. So this will just download the image from the repository, then verify the image, and also finally it will prepare the node for upgrade, but it will not upgrade. Okay. But you can choose to put these two commands, cleanup command and upgrade prepare command, for all ICE nodes, so that you will have you can save the time for during upgrade, right? So this is just preparing. This may take more than half an hour to prepare a single ICE node, right? The last command is proceed command, upgrade proceed. This command will cause actual upgradation to happen. This will stop the ICE application and then install the new bundle, and then the ICE node will be restarted or rebooted. Once it gets rebooted, it will come up with a new version. Okay. So there are a few commands you can run. So the upgrade is finished, so you can run show version to check the version. You can run show application status ICE to check the status of the different whether the application services are running, indexing services are running or not. All these things, that is a very important command that you can run to check whether all the services are running or not. Until unless the application service is not running, you will not get the GUI access. Right? So you need to wait for the all the services to run. Okay, so coming to the once we have completed this one, you need to check whether everything is, I mean, there are some force checks for that, for the upgradation. Uh, yeah, so because in the new deployment, we need to change the admin roles. The we need to change the current primary to secondary and secondary to primary, right? So we need to go to the we need to log into the SAN GUI and navigate to administration deployment, and in the edit node window you will see the option to promote to primary, right? So if you click that, both the primary and secondary will reboot. Sorry, services will restart. So after that, the old primary will become the primary. And once you get the GUI access of primary admin node, you can enable the automatic fan failover as it was before, so that in case if there is some issue in the admin node, primary admin node, there will be automatic fan failover, or the automatic failover for the admin node, admin portion. Then you can enable the operational backup configuration, automatic backup configuration. Also, can check the health state of each ISE node if everything is looking fine. There is some CPU or RAM utilization, high utilization, and uh, ensure to check the alarms in ISE home page. If you have some old alarms, ensure to clean it and wait for half an hour or 1 hour to check if there are new alarms coming for the after the upgradation. And also, if there is some new patch available for 2.7, then you ensure that you install that involves bug fixes, right? Yeah, that completes the ICE upgrade from 2.2, 2.4, or 2.6 to 2.7 in the distributed deployment. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.